Dave Abrams.
And I'm Kristin Lagana. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll talk to a local historian about two of our greatest presidents, and we have a scam alert for you to protect yourself. But first, making headlines this week. Residents of the Mayo Peninsula are frustrated by traffic and development, and they have made their voices heard. Well, the county has several new pages on our website where you can find all the facts and resources you need to study up on the issue. Just head over to aacounty.org and click on the spotlight for Mayo Peninsula. Once you're there, you'll find answers to frequently asked questions, maps and planning documents, and so much more. The website contains facts and figures about ongoing road improvement projects, traffic studies, and all kinds of other good stuff. Dave, there are so many things going on in Mayo. You have sewage treatment upgrades, proposed improvements to parks, a building moratorium, and of course, beautiful waterfront habitat.
Right.
And if you have questions, we have the answers, because I got nothing but love for you, Mayo.
Mayo girl right here,
Yes.
sort of, close to Mayo.
Close to Mayo. I spent a lot of time in Mayo in high school.
Was it Mayo Middle, Mayo Elementary?
No, it's Mayo. I went to Davidsonville Elementary.
Oh, I thought you went to something Mayo.
No.
No?
But I hung out in Mayo a lot. I had a lot of high school Mayo friends.
That's fair,
Mayo for life, we'd say.
So this website, it's actually, in the parlance of our industry, we call it web pages.
Web pages.
There's 4 web pages devoted to this subject. And every question you could think of, hopefully, is answered. Because it's been almost a year now that people have been talking about Mayo, that the citizens have been testifying at the council and registering their complaints. And over that time, there's been a lot of misinformation.
So it's nice to have this as a resource that gathers all those questions in one place.
Right, so this tries to take all the questions that people have raised over that time period and give them all the facts that we have.
Right.
And I think another thing to keep in mind with this is there's no easy answer to these things.
No.
I mean, I just saw somebody today where, you know, we've heard a lot of, well, you need to fix the roads before you improve the park. Okay, you want to fix the roads, so that means widening the road, right? And then somebody says, I don't want the road widened because there's going to be more development because the road's widened.
Right.
So it's a
catch-22.
complicated situation, and I think the important thing is the county's listening. The county's got a lot of different things going on in response to what the citizens have said down there. So hopefully everybody's going to stay engaged, work together, figure out solutions. We'll all be happy. We can go kayaking.
We'll figure it out.
Go kayaking down at Beverly Triton this summer. I mean, I know I will. You?
I would like to do that.
Right?
Right.
Okay, let's
Very
do
good.
that. Well, the county has a brand new top numbers cruncher we have to introduce to you. It's not Kristin.
Why not? I thought I got the job.
No, you're very smart, but you're not a numbers person. Can we agree on that?
I love numbers. I love spending them.
Right. Well, it so happens we've hired Karen McQuaid.
Hey, Karen.
Karen was appointed by County Executive Steve Shue this week as our new controller. Now, what does the controller do, you might ask,
What does the
Kristin?
controller do, Kristin?
I'm going to tell you. The controller oversees the Office of Finance, pays the bills, and oversees issuance of debt, as well as producing comprehensive annual financial reports.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be good at that.
Right?
Yeah.
Me either.
Congrats, Karen.
McQuaid will also put together the bond rating presentations for firms in New York that determine our county's credit rating.
Ah.
In other words, Kristin, Karen McQuaid is smarter than us.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
She has 30 years of experience in the private sector, a master's degree from the University of Maryland, go Terps.
Woohoo, Terps.
And she also earned a business degree in College Park, so good for her. And I bet she's a whiz with pivot tables.
We do love pivot tables.
You do
I did them a long time ago in school, but you've referenced pivot tables frequently on this show.
It's kind of a thing, like it's a mythical thing that I don't even really understand at all, so I just kind of throw it out there to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about, but I really don't. I'm better at spreadsheets. I can use Excel and stuff, but I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, I probably am the same with you there, but when
We'll
it
just
comes
ask
to
Karen.
credit ratings and being financially responsible, Karen's probably a better person than me for the job.
Is your credit good? Is your credit okay?
I have good credit.
You have good credit?
I'd like to think it could be better.
I mean, you are about to get married, so you want to make sure your credit's good. You need to start looking into that. Expedia.com.
Wait, no, everybody's doing it now. You can check your credit rating like any. I swear you could probably sign up for one of those like clothing websites like what's the one, Stitch Fix, and they'll give you your credit rating. Everybody wants to send you your credit rating these days.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing now.
Whoa, you're breaking it down, Kristin Lagana.
Hard hitting news here.
Good
Week in Review.
stuff.
Well, speaking more about money, the budget season is starting to heat up, and the county has announced 2 public meetings for citizens to weigh in. The fun begins on Tuesday, February 28th at Southern Middle School in Lothian. Citizens will be able to speak directly to the county executive as well as other department heads and the budget officer. The meetings start at 7 p.m. If you can't make it to Lothian at the end of this month, come on out to Brooklyn Park on March 15th. That budget town hall will be at Park Elementary School. The county executive will take all of the feedback and put together a budget presentation to the county council on May 1st. Of course, that will start off 6 weeks of deliberation and public hearings in front of the council. Dave, what's on your budget wish list?
I have one request.
What's your request?
No
Week in review.
new taxes.
Oh, no new taxes.
And more money for Week in Review, which is 0, so more money.
A nightly news show with Week in Review.
Yes.
Day in Review.
Yes.
Anne Arundel County, Day in Review.
We need to get a host for Week in Review.
Wait, are you leaving?
I think somebody else could do it better than me.
That's not true. Everybody out there loves you, Dave.
No, tell me more.
That's not
No,
true.
you have the floor. Tell me about it.
About how you're a great host?
Yeah, tell me more
You
about that.
you got that charisma. You got that spark, kid. You got what we need.
You know, I've taken under consideration what you said, and I think I'm going to stay.
Yeah, he's gonna stay.
There we go.
He's gonna stay.
You convinced me.
Woohoo.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and I promise I'll come back. And when we return, we will talk to Dr. Rockefeller from Anne Arundel County Community College about George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Anne Arundel.
Woohoo.
Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we'll be right back.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we're delighted to have Dr. R.J. Rockefeller from the Anne Arundel Community College. Rocky, how's it going today?
Fairly well.
Great. We want to give our viewers out there a little background of what it is you do. Tell us about the classes you teach at AACC.
I teach quite a range of history classes in political science, early and late American, early and late what used to be called Western civilization, political science, and also Maryland history when I get a chance.
Very nice. And tell us a bit about your doctorate, where you went to school, what you studied.
Sure. When I decided to go back to school after some retail management, I decided I wanted to study early American history and chose William and Mary.
William and Mary.
Oh, now you know the secret handshake.
Did it.
I then came up to Maryland, which was a very fine institution for early American history, took my PhD there.
Very good.
Terps. Go Terps.
Go Terps. We always talk about pals.
Love Terps.
University of Maryland. So
Yeah.
we're big University of Maryland fans on the show. So this month, of course, we have 2 birthdays of 2 of our greatest presidents, Washington and Lincoln. And tell us about a book that you would recommend for each for viewers out there to read.
Well, remember how big a geek I am. And I'm also a traditionalist. And Douglas Southhold Freeman wrote a 7-volume biography of Washington that has not been exceeded.
Wow.
7
7
volumes.
volumes.
7 volumes.
Better get
But if you
started.
don't have time for 7 volumes, Flexner recently...
What's it called?
George Washington.
It's called George Washington. Okay.
In 7 volumes.
Freeman is the author. Okay.
Right. And more recently, James Flexner wrote a much more digestible The Indispensable Man. And although biography is often condemned in the modern world, and we try not to look at the individuals as well as much as we do trends, Washington is one of those individuals you have to pay attention to.
That's right.
And Flexner remembers that.
That's right.
And then Lincoln.
Lincoln is an extremely controversial character now. Lots of people condemning him routinely, but I think Stephen Oates' book, With Malice Towards None, is probably the best. Although the bestseller right now, I think, is James McPherson's Abraham Lincoln.
And not the vampire.
No, I was going to ask about the vampire too.
He rolls his eye.
No,
I
it's
keep
not
telling my
historically
students that when they
accurate.
read graphic novels, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. And I think it's becoming more and more popular, especially folks that have a lengthy commute to do the books on tape or get an audio version of the book. So
Right.
that could make that 7-volume a little more digestible if maybe
Right.
you listen to it when you have time on the go.
I'm gonna check it out.
There you go.
I'm gonna.
Definitely worth it.
I finished 1776 finally, so it would be good for me to move to that. Is it hard to read? Is it like
Oh no,
Old English kind of
it's
deal? Okay.
the kind of storytelling that is very rarely done in history.
I'm on it. Tell us. Here's a tricky one for you. Did George Washington and/or Abraham Lincoln have any Anne Arundel County connections?
Absolutely, that's how important we are here. For Washington, it's the most obvious case. Congress was meeting in Annapolis. It was wandering around since the British had nearly destroyed Philadelphia. We hadn't retaken New York yet, and Congress was fairly migratory. They came to Annapolis, which they thought was going to be able to host them. People like Jefferson condemned it as a rotten town, and everybody hated the summer, but at least they were meeting in the winter
Well,
when he
on
came.
Thursday night, it's ladies' night, so.
I'm not sure that Washington would have taken up that, but he was quite a dancer on campus. The Congress was meeting, and he came after the military phase of the war had ended. And he came and did a quite remarkable thing. Although his own officers had pressed for him to take over the government to do things like pay them, he read to them a very moving commentary that that's not why they fought. And he came and gave back his commission and resigned from the army here in Annapolis, returning power to the civilians when he could have very easily made himself a virtual king. That story makes him known as the American Cincinnatus, from the story of the Roman Republic, where the man who was dictator over Rome went back to his farm rather than keep the power. And that was an amazing effort on the part of a heroic man.
And what year was that he resigned his commission?
83.
1783, okay.
Very
I was gonna say
admirable.
82, I really was. Okay, and how about Lincoln?
Lincoln is most known in Maryland for a couple of things, like the flight of his assassins or the supposed business about sneaking at night through Baltimore disguised as a woman. Yeah, Lincoln.
Did you hear that one?
Of course, in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Of course, in Baltimore. Yeah.
It was the original Hun.
That's what it was.
That didn't happen.
Didn't actually happen that way.
Okay.
It's a lot of anti-Lincoln propaganda. But Lincoln had very, very close ties with the Maryland government at the beginning of the Civil War. The usual belief is that Maryland would have seceded had he not sent the troops. That's not entirely true. There weren't enough votes in the Assembly to even call for the convention. But he did deploy troops both in Baltimore and Annapolis. And in Annapolis, they were under the command of the man eventually known as Beast Butler.
Beast Butler.
Yes.
How do you get that name?
Well,
Sounds
he
like Mad
mistreated
Dog.
several of the southern communities over which he was placed in command. In Annapolis, he took over the railroads to secure them for the movement of Union troops. Well, obviously the railroad owners weren't very pleased with that, and neither was Governor Hicks. Governor Hicks took several trips to Washington to meet with Lincoln about the deployment of troops in Annapolis, which was both to suppress potentially pro-Confederate crowds, but also to secure the communication system and protect what became a major supply depot, the Academy.
Wow.
So Lincoln was very much aware of what was going on in Maryland and very much attuned to what was happening in Annapolis itself.
Can you imagine how different it would be if that train route still existed to Annapolis? I think about that often. I mean, the Lowe's Hotel was a train station, right?
Indeed.
We were pretty close by there. Do we know why the railroad went away? No? I think we should bring it back.
When I first moved to Maryland, I was hoping the light rail would be in the space between the routes east and west on 50.
Yeah.
But then another lane, and now there was no hope for mass transit.
Yeah.
The Capitol Corridor is closed unless you're in a car.
But it would have been easy. Do you think Lincoln would have traveled by train from D.C. to Annapolis? Or?
Well, being Lincoln and being in D.C., the governor had to come
Come
to
to
him.
him.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
Of course, that makes sense.
Yeah. You were featured in the documentary about Anne Arundel. Can you
Yes.
tell us a bit about that experience and more about the documentary?
It is a wonderful idea that mass media can apply simple lessons to the public for consumption, like your county's named after whom? And to make people aware of the great heritage of Maryland. So I was very fortunate to be asked to participate in a biographical, but also a time sketch not only that particular woman, but what was a noble woman's life like at the time that Maryland was founded. A great library environment and a great product, and I hope everybody gets a chance to see that.
Yeah, I have often told Dave about whenever we reference this documentary that in grade school we had a unit on it, but you often forget that kind of knowledge over time. So I think this is a perfect way for adults to regain some knowledge about, yes, who our county is named after. And as we mentioned off camera, it's going to be a great piece for in school as well. So.
And more to come.
Yeah, more to come.
Rocky's going to collaborate with us on some other projects.
I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, we have a lot to do, so that would be great.
Well, we had one more thing for you. If people watch the documentary, they may recognize the background that we're interviewing you in, the Truxell Library at the community college. If someone wants to learn about Washington and Lincoln, or they want to research history, is that a good place to go to get that information?
It's an excellent place. We are blessed in this county with a very good public library system as well, but they're very much in tune of what is in demand right now, what was published this year, and they cleanse their shelves on a routine basis for good reasons. So if you're looking for something a little older, or you're looking for a volume on a subject, that is to say more than one volume, then the community college library is wonderful. It's recently been renovated, it's easy access, it is available to the public both for visits and, if you make the special arrangements, as a circulating library as well. It is a fabulous institution, it serves the students very well, and this community, it also has a very strong Maryland local history collection.
Excellent.
And all 8 volumes of George Washington
7.
by Freeman?
7, but yes.
7, all 7. There's an 8th one I heard.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
only available at the Anne Arundel County
It's a mystery where
Community
it
College
is
Library.
exactly.
Well,
Right.
technically there is an 8th volume.
See?
Oh,
See?
It's the bibliography, and should that count?
And
I suggest reading the
bibliography is like
footnotes,
this.
but
well, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. What are some of the classes you're teaching this semester?
I do a lot of U.S. history. I do
US
early and
history.
late, but I'm also teaching a political science class, and this year makes that very exciting and
Oh,
controversial.
yeah. Oh,
We'll have to audit
good
that
luck
one.
to you, sir.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and please come back on the show anytime you have some interesting lessons to give us. Dave and I can always use the
For
extra
sure.
history buff
Love
around
talking
here.
history.
So very much so.
Be happy
Thank
to
you.
help.
And
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back. Now, we all get frustrated by solicitors who knock on the door trying to sell something unless they're Girl Scouts with cookies.
Love Girl Scouts.
Girl Scout
I have my
cookies.
own Girl Scout sources, though, so they don't knock on
Oh,
my door.
yeah, there you go. Well, Pat Daly has information about some scammers who are going door to door. Pat is at police headquarters with more.
Thanks, guys. You know, everybody's gotten the scam by an email that says, you know, you just inherited $1 million. You know, we need you to send us your social security number, your next of kin, and gosh only knows what else. So I'm here to talk to Police PIO Lieutenant Ryan Frazier about what scams are out there right now. Lieutenant, thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here.
Can you just give us an example of a few different kinds of scams?
Sure. So we see a wide variety of scams here in the county and really around the nation. So one of the most popular is an IRS scam where you'll get a phone call and it'll be a person claiming to be an IRS agent on the phone. Usually they have a heavy accent because it's usually from out of the country, and they claim that you owe money in taxes. And if you go to the store, get some prepaid gift cards, call them back with a number that's on the back so they can activate the card, then a warrant won't be issued for your arrest. So obviously that's a huge scam. No company, whether it be the IRS or BGE or the water company, will ask you to pay your bill in any type of prepaid cards. Another quite common issue that we have is, especially with the weather getting warmer, we have contractors that go around, knock door to door, and we have contractors that say they'll pave your driveway, do some yard work, or do some work around the house. And those individuals tend to get a little, they'll tend to get a little rough with you. They may be a little bit more ignorant, may not be so as nice, and they tend to kind of swindle people and make people feel like that they have to pay them money for work that's not either up to the quality, up to par that it's supposed to be, or for work that's not even completed whatsoever. Another scam that we have seen in the past is individuals that pose as either BGE employees or work for the water company. And they'll come and they'll simply knock on your door and they'll tell you that you owe money to BGE or the water company. Again, a lot of times they'll ask for those prepaid gift cards for payment. So again, it's just very important to just be cognizant of what's going on around you. So just a couple little tips for these things is just always keep your eyes and ears open. So a lot of people feel like if somebody comes and knocks on their door that they have to open the door. And I'm here to tell you, you don't. If you don't feel comfortable with somebody on the other side of the door, then simply don't open it, don't answer the door, or start conducting your business through the closed door. That way you have the safety of a locked door there. Always ask for some type of a photo identification, even though these crooks nowadays are getting quite savvy. You know, a lot of times they'll wear a BGE shirt or they'll have a fake employment badge. So just conduct your business through a closed door. You don't have to open that door. And again, if something doesn't feel right, trust your instincts. If it doesn't seem right, it's probably not right.
And usually IRS, you know, a government agency like that, usually sends a letter. Is that correct?
Yeah, they do. They conduct all their business by mail. They will not charge you any money. They don't just issue a warrant for your arrest. You'll be contacted several times. And same thing with BGE. They don't just shut people's power off.
Right.
These crooks will threaten, if you don't pay me now, we're going to shut your water off or your power off. And they don't do that. So they simply don't do that. They send out several notifications. So you'll know if it's an official from BGE, if you're served something through the mail.
Okay. Now, I know these are happening all over the county. What should people do if they feel like they've been scammed?
Well, if you feel like you've been scammed, certainly call 911. That's what we're here for. Certainly, if this is in progress, if you have somebody that's in your neighborhood or someone that's outside your door that you feel is a scammer, please call 911. Let us come out. Let us check them out. BGE, certainly call BGE. They have a 1-800 number that you can call if you feel like you've been scammed by them or by an individual that appears to be a BGE employee. And same thing with the IRS. IRS has a 1-800 number. You can go online to BGE or to the IRS, and they have a drop-down box where you can report crimes.
Great. And of course, they can contact the County Executive's Office of Constituent Services should they have any kind of need, a BGE any contact number or IRS. So, well, Lieutenant, is there anything else that you'd like to comment on?
No, just a couple safety tips. Always feel like you can call the police department. That's what we're here for. We're here to serve you. You know what belongs in your neighborhood. You know the people that belong in your neighborhood. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and if something doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. Trust your instincts and give us a call. Let us come out and check them out.
All right, great. Thanks, Lieutenant. Thanks very much. Well, back to you guys.
Thanks, Pat. We have to pay attention, Dave.
I know. And those roofing and siding guys, stop knocking on my door.
Gosh.
Seriously, I know you're not scammers, but I do not need any siding.
I get a lot of the energy ones, the electricity that say they're with BG&E.
I mean, the light is on. It's obvious I don't need your help.
Hello.
There's siding on the house already.
There's siding.
Leave me alone.
Leave us alone.
All right, so we're going to devote the end of the show to the Grammys because I think there's a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we are very picky about our awards shows and our music, so this is going to be quite
And I think we can agree that the two of us, the Grammys is definitely the one that we
pay the most attention to, and that we're going to definitely cut down on, and we're going to expect more out of.
I don't even care about the Oscars this year at all. But
No?
anyway,
Okay.
let's talk about the one that just happened, and we'll talk about
the
Oscars
Grammys.
next time. All right, here we go. First, I'm going to tell you what I liked about it, and then I'm going to tell you what I didn't like about it. Okay?
I imagine your first list will be very short compared to your second list, which will be very long.
No, I'm not going to go crazy, but I am going to kind of drop a bomb, so I'm going to let you respond.
All right.
Okay, so here's what I liked. I really liked the Bee Gees tribute. I thought it was.
Are we going
really,
strict performances here?
Just overall. I mean, I
start
thought it
off
was
with?
nice. I thought it was really genuine. Was it Barry Gibb? I forget which brother
Barry
it
Gibb.
was who was there in the audience. I mean, he was obviously very touched by
Yes.
it. The performances I thought were excellent. I mean,
Say everybody but Little Big Town.
yeah, Little Big Town wasn't great, but we don't have to nitpick there, Kristin. It was
all
pretty
right,
good.
all right.
I am a big Prince fan, and a lot of the Prince purists did not like Bruno Mars. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was awesome.
I'm not sure he was really playing that guitar.
I think he was, and
I think he was.
he is a
And you got to give him credit for that.
instrumentalist. And
Nobody is Prince. It's not
No one's
fair.
Prince,
Don't
I
trash
think
the guy.
he made quite an effort.
Yeah, and I think it was good. I think it was good. Like, how many Prince covers have we seen in the last year that were just awful? Awful.
A lot were awful.
Almost
Yeah.
all of them are awful.
And when they said there was going to be a Prince tribute, I thought no one can pull that off. And then Bruno Mars was doing it, and I was like, hey, I can buy into this.
And thank you, Bruno Mars, for not doing Purple Rain. I mean, that is a great song that has been just killed because it's
There
played too
were
much.
a lot of ballads and a lot of political banter about on the Grammys, and I think it was good to go with a song that lightened up the mood. Let's Go Crazy, perfect.
Okay, and you're gonna agree with me on this. Metallica and Gaga.
Awful.
No, it was great.
Awful.
They forgot to introduce Metallica, and James Hetfield's mic went out, but they made it work, and I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
I don't think I really liked Gaga doing Metallica.
Really?
No.
All right.
I think people put too much weight into the fact that she can do anything, and I don't think she can do anything.
No, I disagree with you. I think you need to go to the tape on that because I
Okay,
think she
whatever.
was fantastic.
Well, I don't know.
Let's get to what you're really not going to like that I have to say. I'd say I would give this Grammys, and the Grammys normally I think is very, very good. Like it's a high bar. You always have these combinations of artists that they put together and it just works. And it's like something you've never seen before.
Right.
Yeah, there were some misses this year.
Yes.
I did not like Beyonce or Adele at all. I thought the songs were just boring. They weren't good. Adele didn't that whole starting over thing. That I understand Beyonce is pregnant and they kind of tried to work that in, but the song was just, ugh.
I think it was unprofessional, and I think it was rude, straight out rude, for her to take up that much time because it left a lot of people who went
Beyonce?
Yes.
Because I knew you wouldn't talk about Adele.
No.
Adele had to start over, so she took up time.
Well, yeah, but that was like a 2-minute thing. Beyonce's performance overall felt like might have been 20 minutes.
It was gratuitous.
And there were people
gratuitous is the word.
And
navel gazing.
I appreciate her artistry. I appreciate the picture she tries to paint as an artist overall rather than just coming out and doing the song.
Yeah.
I like that she puts together.
Yeah, no, we want music.
I like that she does a whole
was
world.
Not good.
But I think it was rude for her to take up so much time. So that one in particular, when Adele won Song of the Year.
Yeah, and then
but
said
then
Beyonce should have gotten it for Lemonade.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
She got it for Hello. She went up and gave a speech, but then wanted to turn the mic over to Greg, what's his name, that actually wrote the song, and they cut him off. If they hadn't been so behind in the rest of the show and the rest of the production, then he probably would have gotten a chance to speak.
Wow, look at you
Our
breaking it
other
down.
artists that, if you aren't Beyonce, if you're not Adele, if you're not Ariana Grande, if you're not Ed Sheeran, then you're getting cut off.
Ed Sheeran was also incredible. I thought
He was
really
great.
good.
One-man band, perfect.
I love the loop pedal. I can do the loop pedal.
I couldn't stand the Peter Pan Neverland mashup. That was ridiculous.
I don't remember that.
I loved the Alicia Keys, Marin, whatever her name is.
I forgot her name, so I didn't bring it up, but I did
Awesome.
like that. And she kind of stole the show. I didn't know who she was.
I didn't either, but I remembered her.
Do we usually have this many repeat performers in the same show? I mean, she did 2 acts.
She did too.
She
Prince
did
did too. Adele did too.
Prince was not there.
I mean, Bruno. Bruno did
Bruno
too.
did too. Adele did too.
Adele did too. Yeah.
That George Michael song was awful.
And the other thing is, and I'm a big rock fan. I don't think they do enough with rock music.
Because you know why? Because it's dead.
No, Metallica did something.
I know, but the numbers
had
show.
Gaga
I
with
read
it.
something very in depth on this, and it's just not
I would have
there.
loved to seen some
Rock
Kings
is
of
not
Leon.
there.
Bruce Springsteen has some new stuff out. Highly Suspect, who was up for a Grammy, should
I was
have
just going to
performed.
tell you Metallica is old, and then you go to Bruce Springsteen.
I like Bruce.
That you just proved the point.
Tom Petty was not. Tom Petty won Artist of the Year. Never saw him, and he didn't even perform. Why?
He won Artist of the Year this
Artist
year.
of the Year.
What did he do?
He just put out a new album.
I
He's
missed
going on
it.
tour. It's like some big 40th anniversary.
I totally
kind of
missed
thing.
it. Did you know this?
I did know that, and I think
Tom
that
Petty.
it's ludicrous that he did not perform.
I maintain that the best Tom Petty song ever is Breakdown, which was done with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, not Tom Petty, the solo artist.
You're absolutely wrong. It's You Don't Know How It Feels.
Okay. It's a pretty good song. But
They're all pretty
it's
good songs.
catchy.
I'm going to see him in July, by the way.
Oh, really?
Anyway, I will give this
What else?
Grammys
What would you give it? I
a
said
solid
5.
C.
Yeah, so you didn't like it that much.
No, I didn't. I think it's
Wow.
boring. I think that they pandered to ratings too much, and they put on the same artists that we've all seen.
Wow.
And
Tell us how you feel, Kristin.
Isn't it funny that some years are Katy Perry years and some years are Taylor Swift years?
Yeah.
They can't be in the same room.
Yeah, there was.
so.
She wasn't even there. Was she there? She was like on camera
And
the
last
entire
year was
time.
a Taylor
year.
Swift Grammy, and you didn't see Katy Perry.
And Katy Perry's new look and that whole thing, I wasn't feeling that
Oh,
either.
I like her hair.
You like the blonde
I like the
hair
blonde hair.
for Katy Perry?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But go out.
Wow, you
know what?
really went after them. Wow.
I will say this. It's cool if you watch the Grammys. It's cool if you enjoyed them. Get out there and enjoy some local music, folks.
There you go.
Get out there and support
Metallica's coming to town.
some of our local artists.
Tickets are very, very expensive. I really liked Metallica and Gaga. You didn't like that? We're going to talk about that after the show.
right.
I can't believe you said that.
Wrap
We
it up.
usually agree on these things.
Wrap it up.
Well, as Kristin said, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archived episodes online anytime on Facebook or YouTube by simply searching for Arundel TV. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time.